Welcome to Power in Words, a sanctuary where we explore the architecture of the human spirit and the boundless potential residing within your own heart. It is here, in this quiet communion between writer and reader, that we seek to uncover the profound truths that govern our lives, not through force or volume, but through the gentle, persistent revelation of wisdom. Today, we embark on a journey that is perhaps the most necessary of all human endeavors. We step away from the cacophony of the external world, the noise of the news, the clamor of politics, the relentless hum of social expectation, to sit in the stillness of the self. We are here to dismantle the walls of helplessness and reconstruct a fortress of agency using the immortal blueprint provided by Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. This is not merely a slogan to be printed on posters. It is a psychological mandate, a spiritual directive, and the only viable path toward a meaningful existence. Let us begin by acknowledging the heavy blanket that often settles upon our shoulders when we look out the window. We live in an era that feels increasingly fractured. When you scroll through the digital archives of our time, you are likely met with a deluge of sorrow. We see division. We see a planet gasping for breath. We see cruelty masquerading as strength and indifference disguised as wisdom. The sheer scale of the world's suffering can be paralyzing. It is a natural human response to feel small in the face of such vastness. We look at the mountain of problems and we look at our own hands and we think, what can I possibly do? I am but a drop in the ocean. In this state of overwhelm, a seductive psychological defense mechanism kicks in. We begin to externalize. We point fingers. We wait for a savior. We say to ourselves, if only the government would change, if only my boss were kinder, if only my partner were more understanding, if only the system wasn't so broken, then I could be happy. Then the world would be right. This projection is the great trap of the human ego. It is the waiting room of life, a gray and stagnant place where we surrender our power to forces outside of our control. As long as you believe that the source of your misery or the solution to the world's pain lies outside of you, you remain a victim. This is where the profound, piercing psychology of Gandhi's philosophy enters the room like a surgeon's scalpel. To be the change is to accept a radical responsibility. It is the terrifying and liberating realization that the world is not something that happens to you. The world is something that responds to you. The external reality you perceive is often a mirror reflecting the internal reality you cultivate. If you see a world that is cold and lacking in compassion, it is a call for you to ignite the fire of warmth within your own hearth. If you see a world that is confused and chaotic, it is a summons for you to become a pillar of clarity and order. The poet Rumi offered a mirror to our souls when he said, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself." This transition from cleverness to wisdom is the maturation of the soul. Cleverness looks outward, seeking to rearrange the furniture of the earth to suit its preferences. Wisdom looks inward, realizing that the eyes with which we view the world determine what we see. When you change the lens, the landscape alters. This is not to say that objective suffering does not exist, but rather that your capacity to heal that suffering begins with your capacity to master your own spirit. If you wish to see peace, you cannot scream for it with a throat full of anger. You cannot fight for tolerance with a heart full of judgment. The frequency of the output must match the frequency of the desired outcome. You must become the living embodiment of the virtue you find missing in society. This process requires a tremendous amount of courage because it demands that we stop reacting and start creating. Most of us live our lives in a state of constant reaction. Someone cuts us off in traffic, and we react with rage. Someone insults us, and we react with defensiveness. The news is bad, and we react with despair. In this reactive state, we are puppets, and the world holds the strings. But as the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl so powerfully observed, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. To be the change is to inhabit that space. It is to pause when the world screams at you and to choose to whisper back. It is to feel the rising tide of hatred and to choose consciously and deliberately to act with love. This is not weakness. This is the highest form of strength. It takes no muscle to strike back. It takes the strength of a giant to absorb the blow and return a blessing. Let us bring this down from the philosophical clouds and into the pavement of your daily life. What does it actually look like to be the change? It is found in the microscopic moments that weave the tapestry of your day. It is the moment you walk into a coffee shop and the barista looks exhausted, perhaps even rude. The reactive self wants to be rude in return, to demand better service, to mutter a complaint. But the conscious self, the self that seeks to be the change, pauses. You realize that you wish to see a world where people are patient, where they are seen, where they are valued. So you become that patience. You look that stranger in the eye, you offer a genuine smile, and you say, "Thank you," like you mean it. In that split second, you have altered the energetic fabric of the universe. You have broken a cycle of negativity. You have planted a seed of kindness in soil that was dry. That person may go on to treat the next customer better, who then goes home and is more patient with their children. This is the ripple effect. You may never see the distant shores where your ripples land, but you must trust that the ocean carries them. There is a profound psychological shift that occurs when you adopt this mindset. You move from a place of scarcity to a place of abundance. When you wait for the world to be kind to you, you are a beggar with an empty bowl. When you decide to generate kindness regardless of the circumstances, you become a sun. A sun does not bargain. It does not say, "I will shine only if the flowers look at me." It shines because that is its nature. It shines because it is full of light. When you decide to be the change, you become a generator of energy rather than a consumer of it. You stop asking, "What can I get?" and start asking, "What can I give?" This is the secret to enduring happiness. As distinct from fleeting pleasure, true joy is found in the alignment of your actions with your highest values. When you act with integrity, even when no one is watching, you build a relationship of trust with yourself. You begin to walk taller, not out of arrogance, but out of the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are a source of good in a difficult world. We must also address the shadow, the fear that our efforts are futile. The cynical voice in the back of the head whispers, "Why bother? You are just one person. The corruption is too deep. The hatred is too loud." This is the voice of despair, and it is a liar. History is the biography of individuals who ignored that voice. Think of Rosa Parks remaining seated. Think of Nelson Mandela in his cell. They were individuals, finite and fragile, just like you. They did not have armies. They had conviction. They became the change they wished to see, and the world eventually bent toward their gravity. You do not need to lead a nation to change the world. You change the world every time you forgive someone who does not deserve it. You change the world every time you choose integrity over profit. You change the world every time you listen to a child with your full attention. As Mother Teresa beautifully articulated, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. The cumulative effect of these small things with great love is what holds civilization together. It is the invisible glue of humanity. If everyone decided to stop being the change, if everyone decided to simply reflect the darkness they saw, humanity would extinguish itself by sundown. We are here because in every generation there are those who refuse to let the light go out. You are called to be one of those guardians. This is not a burden, it is a privilege. It means that your life matters. It means that your choices have weight. It means that you are not a spectator in the arena of history, but a participant. Every morning, when your feet touch the floor, you are stepping onto a battlefield between hope and despair, and your weapon is your character. Consider the relationships in your life. How often do we wait for the other person to apologize? How often do we withhold affection until we receive it? This is a transaction, not a relationship. To be the change is to be the first one to reach out. It is to be the first one to say, "I love you." It is to be the first one to put down the armor. This vulnerability is terrifying, yes, but it is the only pathway to intimacy. If you wish to see a world where people are vulnerable and authentic, you must drop your own mask. You must show your scars. You must admit your failures. In doing so, you give permission to everyone around you to do the same. You create a sanctuary of truth in a world of pretense. This is how you heal a family. This is how you heal a friendship. This is how you heal a community. There is a spiritual dimension to this as well. When you align your will with the good of the whole, you tap into a reservoir of energy that goes beyond the physical. You may feel tired, you may feel drained, but when you act from a place of service, you find a second wind. This is because you are no longer operating from the small, limited ego, but from the vast, interconnected web of life. You realize that you and the world are not separate. The pain you see out there is a reflection of the pain in here. The healing you bring out there facilitates the healing in here. As you clean the window through which you see the world, the sunlight brightens your own room. Let us also speak of patience. To be the change is a long game. It is not a quick fix. You may be kind to a neighbor for 10 years and never see a change in them. Does that mean you failed? No. Your character is not a vending machine where you put in a coin of kindness and immediately get out a result. Your character is a garden. You plant seeds. Some will sprout quickly. Others may lie dormant for seasons. Some may bloom only after you are gone. The true test of your commitment to being the change is your ability to persist in goodness when the world gives you nothing in return. This is the definition of integrity. It is doing the right thing because it is the right thing, not because it is the profitable thing. It is the understanding that light is its own reward. As Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. You are that light. You are that love, but you must choose to be it every single day, again and again. Imagine for a moment a world where everyone took this advice to heart. Imagine a world where instead of honking their horns, people took a breath, where instead of hoarding resources, people shared what they had, where instead of judging a stranger by their appearance, people looked for the divinity within them. It sounds like a utopia, does it not? But utopia is not a place we find. It is a place we create, brick by brick, action by action. And the construction site is right where you are standing. You do not need to move to a different country or get a different job to start. You start at your kitchen table. You start in your office cubicle. You start on the bus. You represent the human race in every interaction. When you are cruel, you teach the world that cruelty is acceptable. When you are compassionate, you teach the world that compassion is possible. You are a teacher, whether you realize it or not. The lesson you are teaching is your life. Therefore, do not despair at the headlines. Let them break your heart. Yes, for a broken heart is an open heart, but do not let them break your spirit. Let the darkness of the world be the canvas upon which you paint your light. The darker the night, the brighter the star must shine. You are that star. Do not dim your light to match the surrounding gloom. Burn brighter. Be the person who forgives when others hold grudges. Be the person who hopes when others are cynical. Be the person who builds when others destroy. Be the person who listens when others shout. This is the path of the warrior. It requires discipline, awareness, and a fierce, unyielding love. There will be days when you fail. There will be days when you snap at your loved ones, when you judge a stranger, when you retreat into selfishness. This is part of being human. Do not condemn yourself. To be the change you wish to see includes being a person who practices self-forgiveness. If you wish to see a world that is gentle with mistakes, be gentle with your own. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and recommit to the path. The journey of 1,000 miles is not a straight line. It is a winding road full of stumbles. What matters is the direction in which you are walking. As we draw this conversation to a close, feel the weight of your own potential. Feel the beat of your heart, that steady rhythm that has been with you since before you took your first breath. That heartbeat is a gift. It is a clock ticking down the moments you have left to make an impact. Do not waste them in complaint. Do not squander them in waiting. The world is hungry. It is starving for authenticity. It is famished for kindness. It is thirsting for people who are willing to stand up and say, "The cycle of pain stops with me." You have everything you need right now to be that person. You have a voice, you have a mind, you have a heart. These are the tools of creation. Look around you. Look at the faces of the people you pass on the street. Each of them is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Each of them is carrying a burden of sorrow, fear, or insecurity. You have the power to lighten that load. even if only for a moment. You have the power to be the miracle they have been praying for. Not by parting the seas, but by holding the door. Not by raising the dead, but by raising their spirits with a kind word. We often underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. So the next time you feel the urge to criticize the state of the world, catch yourself, walk to the nearest mirror, look into your own eyes, ask yourself, what have I contributed to the emotional climate of my environment today? Have I added pollution or have I planted trees? The answer to that question is your legacy. The world is not yours to fix, but it is yours to serve. And in serving, in changing yourself, you inevitably change the whole. The structure of reality is fluid, and your actions are the ripples that shape the shore. Let this be your manifesto. Let this be the vow you take with yourself, to no longer be a bystander in your own life, to no longer be a victim of circumstance, but to be a creator of circumstance, to be a beacon, to be a refuge, to be the change. The world is waiting for you. It has been waiting for you since the beginning of time. Do not keep it waiting any longer. Arise, shake off the dust of passivity, and step into the fullness of your power. You are not just a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. The world changes when you change. And the time for that transformation is not tomorrow, not next year, but in this very breath you are taking right now. If this message sparked a light within you, help us share that flame. Like this video and subscribe to Power in Words. Let us walk this path of growth together.